Yeah, today I want to talk about something that may be a bit contradicting. We're talking about astrology and manifesting. You saw on my channel, I do talk about astrology, yet we're talking about manifesting, and it seems like they don't go together. But yeah, I'll give you my take on that, how I combine that. But let's go back to the astrology aspect. If I remember it right, and maybe I should have Googled it again to make sure right before I clicked on record, but I'm pretty sure that Neville Goddard used to be an astrologer as well, or he used to be into astrology, but then when he got more into manifestation, he dropped that because he said we can manifest, we have completely free will to decide the timeline we want to be on, and I 100% agree with that. So when I talk about astrology, I personally don't believe so much in this is going to happen then and this is going to happen then. Yeah, your transits, when you look at the transits, it may show you something that may be highlighted or opportunities. However, you can manifest. You don't have to wait for a perfect Venus conjunction or something like that going on in order for you to be happy in love or money. Venus is actually the planet for love and money, which is no surprise because both are very energetically very much connected to self-worth. Worth is money, but also love. And so you don't have to wait for like a specific thing happening on the sky that is saying like, okay, now it's the perfect time to do that. Of course, I do feel it too that sometimes when we have like portal days or stuff like that, or Mercury retrograde. I mean, I'm a Virgo sun and Gemini rising, and so Mercury is my ruler, and when Mercury goes retrograde, I usually feel it because my electronics is starting to, be messy and stuff happens like that. Usually it's my internet that's not really working. So I usually do feel it. I should manifest something else. However, even though there are these kind of energies, our power is stronger. And I do have a video. If I forget to link it up there, check it in my list. It is called something like manifesting the impossible or making the impossible possible, where I talk about Roy Sullivan, who manifested actually being struck by lightning at least seven times, 7 recorded, documented times, where there were witnesses and everything. He was struck by lightning at least 7 times in his life, which is mathematically absolutely impossible. But when we manifest, it is possible. And you would say, yeah, you manifested something you didn't want. Universe doesn't decide, they don't read like, do you want this or not? They just read your energy, your focus. And he was so scared of being struck by lightning that fear manifested that happening again and again and again and again and again. That's how powerful we are. And it doesn't matter what's happening in the sky, where our planets stand. We have free will. Even if this may give us some kind of energy that will make something easier, it's not impossible if there's not like a good transit. Or imagine you meet the love of your life, or you manifested them coming in, and astrology is saying like, no, this is not a good time for you to get together. It doesn't matter, you can make it work anyway. So astrology doesn't control your life. Okay. However, why do I still believe in astrology? I don't believe so much in the determination aspect of astrology. That is going to happen then, that is going to happen then. But I believe that we choose some archetypes before we incarnate. And for example, astrology is one of those archetypes, and I talked about this in the astrology videos. But we do choose our names that have a frequency. We choose our birth dates, numerology that has a frequency. We choose our birth charts, the moon placement, the rising sign placement, sun placement, all of the placements in the houses, in the signs. That is some kind of energy that is predetermined. I chose to be a moon in Aquarius for example, and I chose to be in Moon in Aquarius trining Pluto, which makes me in kind of like odd Moon in Aquarius because it makes me highly emotional, which is not the most typical Aquarius energy, but I still have the typical Moon in Aquarius traits and other things. I chose that. And one thing that I found out, that's a little detour right now, but I think it's fascinating, is when you check your other energies. For example, my totem is a snake, and snake is connected to constantly transforming yourself, shedding the skin. It's not like one big transformation like the butterfly, the caterpillar into butterfly, but snake is shedding its skin constantly, and snake is connected to divination, because when they shed their skin, the eyes turn white for a moment, and it's said it gives them the ability to look into another world. So if you would read about the snake totem, and then I'm a Mars in Scorpio, you would read about Mars in Scorpio, you would see that this is actually very much connected. Or my life path number is A3, and I'm a Gemini rising, so that is very much connected. If you read about life path number 3, you would recognize Gemini energy in that as well. So we choose our like a toolkit, and we choose the tools we come down here that form our core. These things are predetermined. We chose, again, the name, the birth dates, we chose the parents, we chose the country we want to incarnate in, the culture we want to incarnate in, that is of course forming us. And so we have this set of energies, okay? However, of course, we can evolve. For example, let's say you have a square in your birth chart. A square indicates some kind of karma, and that doesn't mean that you will always have to have problems in the specific aspect in your life. It is just something that you have to learn. You can turn a square into a trine or dissolve it. That is absolutely possible. So this is not completely determined. So like, you have, I don't know, the square between Venus and Saturn. Saturn is commitment, so you will never be in a committed relationship. No, this would indicate, there is some problems when it comes to commitment, probably some childhood problems, and you have to heal that, and then you can have this long-lasting relationship, because any connection between Venus and Saturn, even if it's not a positive one, is in the end a connection between Venus, love, and Saturn, commitment. So you can have that. It's not good in the beginning, but you can turn it into something good. So what I was going to say, it's let's compare it like this. Imagine your computer, and let's say your MacBook. Okay, so you have the software of a MacBook, not the Windows software. You have the MacBook software, and if you're a PC, then you got the PC software, the Windows software, and not the MacBook software. And that is basically like what you chose. You chose to be either a MacBook or a PC or whatever there is, Linux, whatever. Okay, you chose this, and you cannot completely transform yourself from a MacBook to a PC, because that's not what your soul wanted. You can change, you can manifest being different, to a certain extent, but remember, your soul chose a specific setting before it came here. It chose to be either MacBook or Windows or something else. And so you would not completely choose to be something completely else, and you wouldn't want that either. I mean, it's your higher self is talking to you, even if it's not consciously. I chose that. I chose to grow or evolve in that specific area of my life. I chose my, let's just say, karma, and I just mean karma as in something that is unhealed and is giving you the ability to transform it. And when you have your computer software, of course, you do get updates. Okay, you do get updates. Sometimes there's an old program you don't like, and you overwrite that, or you replace it with a better program. Maybe there you have programs of gaming on there, and then later on you say, no, I don't want to play games anymore. Now I'm into, I don't know, computer editing, and you download editing software. So you can change within a specific, and that's what you want to do as well. I mean, we came down here to explore ourselves. Okay, we came down here to explore and to constantly change. However, again, it's not that you will change like the whole setup, you know. Within that, what you have, the energies you chose, you come down here, that is what you play with, and that is what you can upgrade, change. You can again delete some program and install something else. That is what we do with our inner beliefs. We do reprogram our minds, especially when we learn about conscious creation and we notice, yeah, I've got these old childhood trauma stuff, or I picked up beliefs that are not mine. For example, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. You know, where did you pick it up? Probably you heard it, and you heard your parents say something like that, and then you later realize, hold on, that's actually a program I decided to come into this life with. That's why I chose those parents that said that, and now I want to transform that. So you would work on, I don't know, your affirmations, your scripting, whatever, to replace those old beliefs. So we do change our programs, but again, we don't change the entire system. You know, you won't turn an apple into APC, but again, it's not wanted by your soul to completely change everything. Your soul chose specific aspects to transform, but not to become a completely different person. For example, if you chose, your soul chose to have more like introverted placements in your horoscope, then you can learn to be more extroverted. Yeah, maybe it's also like, why are you introverted? And introverted doesn't necessarily mean, and that's what many people understand. My brother, for example, is more an extroverted person, but he's still a very calm person. He's not a loud person at all. But introverted means you like to process things on your inside. You like to detach sometimes, take your alone time in order to clear stuff. An extroverted person, they would need other people to do that. They do, for example, they would need brainstorming in order to get new ideas and fresh new ideas and grow with other people. And both of that is absolutely fine. There's not one better than the other. And even an introverted person likes interaction with their people. I love, what's that saying? I'm an introvert if you don't know me. But if you do know me and I'm comfortable with you, then I can be the total extrovert. Extroverted, you know, by talking a lot, Gemini rising. But usually I'm more the quiet type, and I am an introvert because I like to process my emotions within myself and not so much talk about them, whereas an extrovert would like to talk about that. And again, both is absolutely fine. But what I was trying to say is, you can learn from one energy to get more in the other, but you're perfect the way you are, so you don't have to change completely from one energy in the other. That's not wanted by your soul. Your soul chose one specific energy, you know, being more introverted, more extroverted. Of course, there's people who are more in the middle, and that's perfect as well. You know what I was trying to say, your soul chose this setting, perfect setting, because again, your soul chose it, so it's perfect. It cannot be not perfect. Of course, it will have faults because your soul wants to grow, and if you were born with no faults and nothing at all, then there's no chance to really develop, and there would be stagnation. But again, we come down here to experience the change and the shifts. So let's talk about soulmates. I mean, this channel is very much about soulmates, divine counterpart astrology. And when we see, for example, squares in Synastry, that is karma. You attracted a specific person because you have something unhealed in yourself, within yourself. And then you attract someone when your planets would form the specific connection, let's say a square, because of what is not healed yet. That's the reason why you attracted that person. And that can give you the chance to evolve, okay? It can be very traumatic, of course. It can be a clash. And especially if you don't heal and you get rid of this relationship, then you would attract the next person with the same issues. And that will go on and on and on. However, if you do transform whatever energy wants to be transformed, then you can have this very peaceful relationship with this person, even if there is a square or a couple of squares. However, if everything is full of squares, especially like Pluto squares, that would be more like indication for like a toxic relationship. So they probably came for you to maybe learn to go. That could be the issue, or the thing your soul wants to learn. However, if you do have very harmonious aspects, but a couple of squares, it's fine if you do have the harmonious aspects as well. That's important. And then you can transform that. So don't be scared if you look in Synastry and you do see like a square, especially like if it's like a Venus square. Venus square would not be uncommon in divine counterparts connection, because the Venus is also connected to our self-worth, our self-love, and that is what we are supposed to transform. So the square can indicate that there are issues when it comes to that in the beginning, prior to meeting. But again, you can dissolve that. However, let's get back to the MacBook and Windows symbolism. If one of you is a MacBook and the other one is a PC, you just won't fit together because the program doesn't match at all. And so sometimes we do see in astrology that people are not very strongly connected. And you would see that, for example, if there's not many connections to personal planets, then there is not a big connection going on. Or sometimes, sorry, Spirit is giving me metaphors, Alana. I just got the metaphor. If imagine a MacBook, I just talk about MacBook because it's what I have. I'm not advertising anything, but let's say you have a MacBook that has a virus on it, and then you would link that up to another MacBook. That could cause chaos as well, and that would be like if there's a lot of unhealed stuff, and then you have to clear that. So yeah, astrology can show you compatibility. Is that the right word? Compatibility. How compatible you are. Sorry, it's kind of like a hard word to pronounce for my German tongue. Compatibility. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So a birth chart or synastry can show you, yeah, there is no compatibility at all between two people. That can happen. And then again, those messages, those people you attracted because of the lesson, not maybe for the happy end. However, you have the power to manifest. So you can manifest to overcome all of the squares. It would be a lot of work. Because again, you attracted that person because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. If you were further involved, then you would not attract a person where there's everything full of squares. You would have attracted a person where there, again, might be squares, but very peaceful, harmonious aspects as well. Those are very important. So yeah, astrology can show you compatibility, but also it can show you if you are divine counterparts. I don't want to say or not. Yeah, or not. However, a soulmate connection can be completely different. A soul connection, like a soulmate connection, a soulmate can be any energy. A soulmate you would recognize not on your energies, the sun placement, the moon placement, the houses and stuff, like I analyze in my videos. A soulmate you would like any soul connection, but we're just talking about soulmates, you would recognize because there's a lot of connection between the personal planets and synastry. Okay, they don't have to have like matching energies at all, as long as there's a lot of positive or even negative. A soulmate doesn't have to be like a positive thing. I mean, a soulmate could be like something extremely karmic or toxic. Soulmates are those people that help you grow, and it can be through a lot of lessons or through support. It could be either way, but you recognize a soulmate when there's a lot of connections in the synastry, and that could be it. Again, the energy doesn't have to match at all. It's how you make it work. It's you would focus on synastry. However, divine counterparts, especially monadic twin flames or split twin flames, you need to remember a split twin flame was one monad, one soul that's split into two perfect souls. I always say it's not half souls. And if you watch my video, you heard me use that metaphor before, but it's like identical twins. There's like one fertilized egg that's split into two embryos, and you have two perfect embryos. You don't have half people being born. You have two complete human people being born that are connected. It's a twin bond, you know, a biological twin bond. They are especially connected, but they're their own individual, you know. So you're not a half soul. Half souls don't exist. You don't need the other person to complete you. You are already complete. The other person, however, would enhance your life, make it even greater, but they come, you know, as a cherry on top when you are in union. They don't come to because you have some kind of lack within you, and they don't come to fill a void. That's very important. A high soul connection never comes to fill a void. They come to show you there is a void inside you, take care of it, and then I can come. So anyway, so if a split twin used to be one soul, used to come from the same energy, of course that does show in astrology. They will have similar traits because they are still connected on the higher realms. They still share the oversoul, and then since they're split, they will have opposites, you know, like I'm a Virgo, so my opposite could be a Pisces. However, my split twin, he was a Virgo as well, because again there is sameness, but in the opposite rising sign. So our sun signs, even though both in Virgo, were in opposite houses, mine in the 5th house and his in the 11th. So there is sameness, and at the same time the complete opposite as well. So they complete you. They're the perfect match for you, and you will find that quite a lot. For example, we also had, of course, Venus both in Leo, and Venus can never be far from the sun, so it's not a surprise. But again, mine was in 1 house, and his mine's in the 4th house. Yeah, so his in the 10th. So you will have, like, again, a lot of sameness because you share the oversoul, and then a lot of oppositions. It doesn't have to be the suns. In our cases it was the suns, but it could be like, for example, me being a Virgo sun and him being a Pisces moon. That could have, or me being an Aquarius moon and him being the Leo sun. That is something that could have happened as well, or a lot of opposite houses. So again, a split twin, again, you see the sameness because same soul strand, the same stream of consciousness. Then the opposite because it's split in yin yang, okay, in feminine and masculine. However, the oversoul either already is more feminine or masculine because it split up from another oversoul. And that is why the opposite signs are always either feminine or masculine. You know, there's not that's the energy of split twin. Monadic twin flame, however, it's the same. It's, if you share one soul, that must show in astrology, but not by having the same sign. That would be more like a mirror soul. A mirror soul will lots have sameness, you know, having the sun in the same sign, the moon in the same sign, Venus in the same sign, you know, like a lot of sameness. But contrary to the split twin, you don't have the opposites as well. There's just the sameness, and that's a soul that is very much like you. Can be divine counterpart, or can be a huge trigger because they also are the same as you in the shadow aspect. It depends on how evolved you are. A monadic twin, however, they share the same energy but complementary. For example, I'm a Virgo sun. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. It's the yin, the feminine aspect of Mercury. So what is the yang aspect of Mercury? You know, both are ruled by Mercury. It's Gemini. And my moon is moon in Aquarius, which is the Saturn sign. The yang, the masculine aspect of Saturn. So what is the complementary sign of that? It's Capricorn, the yin part of Saturn. So we both are ruled. I'm just saying 2 examples, and Sun and Moon are the most important examples, of course. So we are both ruled by Mercury and Saturn strongly in our charts. Very strongly Saturn and Mercury, but again the yin-yang energy. We are not the same sign, but the same energy that is split in yin-yang. And so monadic twins have a lot of that going on. And again, was mentioning just 2 out of several aspects. That is something you see a lot in the monadic twins, the sameness but yet different. Or another thing you would see a lot in the monadic twins is one person having, let's see, Venus in Virgo, and the other person having Venus in the 6th house, which is the house of Virgo. So both have Virgo energy attached to their Venus, but still different. One is the sign, one is the house, you know. So that would be something that you would find a lot. So yeah, astrology can determine your oversoul energy, and again, it's the template you chose to come in here. So I do believe manifesting and astrology, they do go together. However, it's not determined when it comes to the outcome. You determine the outcome. Even if you would meet your monadic twin flame or your split twin flame or any other divine counterpart, I strongly believe they are meant to be together. They are meant to be together. That's why they attracted each other in the first place. They attracted each other for the healing journey, for the ascension journey, but also for the union. But it's up to you. If you don't heal your stuff, then you won't be able to attract that union. It's completely up to you. Even if there is fate, even if it is destined to be, but you have to do it. You know, it's like you're destined to win the lottery, but you never play. You know, you have to do, or you're destined to win a gold medal, but then you stop training. You know, destiny can only get you so far. You have to do it. It doesn't matter what. And again, even if it would be more like a karmic relationship, and astrology would just say, oh, it's difficult, then even though they're not like your twin flame, you can still make it work. Because if you can imagine to be with them vividly, then only because that timeline is available for you, and it's just your job to get there. So again, this video was a bit longer than I expected, but I hope it helped you. I hope it explained why I believe manifestation and astrology can go together. It just, astrology is a big field, you know. It's what kind of astrology you use, you know. There is personal development. So even if you have a square in your natal chart, doesn't mean that you always have to have that conflict. You can overcome it always. And a transit can make something maybe a bit easier because that energy is more available maybe in that moment. But if you don't reach out in that moment, or you don't take advantage of that energy, then it won't come. But even if that energy would not be as strongly available, you can make it available by your manifesting. Okay, there is some divine timing when it comes to manifesting. I do have a video on that. Check out my video on divine timing when it comes to manifesting. I was talking about open windows. Maybe that is connected to astrology. Could be, I wouldn't know. But I still believe that our power to manifest defeats astrology. However, astrology still shows you your core frequency. It shows you what system, computer system, to use that metaphor, you came to play with, to update and to delete programs and install new programs. So anyway, if you want personal coaching or your own astrology reading, you can reach out and check out my other stuff. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, you know the drill. Check out my other content, help me grow my channel, and I wish you all the best. Now, bye bye.